Hello and welcome back to this video series on static and dynamic data structures. In this video, I want to take a look at some different collections that you can use within your program. So in the previous video, we talked about the array list. What I want to do is just briefly highlight the linked list, the hash set, and just say a few words about the hash map. So here's our previous program where we have an array list and we're strictly enforcing that this is going to be only string data type that can be held within this list. And then we added a few items to our list. As I mentioned in the previous video, an array list and a linked list and a hash set, they function very similarly. And so if I were to change this array list to say linked list, I press run here, it should run and function the same. You won't see much difference here. Let's see here. What did I forget? Linked list. Oh, you know why? It's because here I didn't import the linked list. So I could do something such as this here. Let's copy this import statement. And then do linked list. Or a shorter syntax would be to do something called an asterisk, a wildcard. And just do the star. And that basically says import anything, the various classes that are a part of the util. And so now if I run this, I should get a functioning program. So we get pair, right? And all I did here was just change the name of the collection from array list to linked list. And you'll see that the collection is an interface and then extends some of the same methods that you will find in an array list are extended as well to a linked list. Now, a hash set performs a little different, functions a little differently than the linked list and the array list, but the uniqueness of a linked list, the uniqueness of a hash set is that it only can contain unique values. So if I were to do something such as this, and we could use hash set because it's bringing in hash set from our import statement, but if I were to say, or add another fruit and say, let's add pair, and then let's go ahead and output these items here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a different way or a different looping structure using a lambda expression. So this is another opportunity to learn another looping structure. So I'll say fruit dot, and then there's a method called for each, and then here I'll say x. I'll say system dot out dot print the object. And I'll just create a little bit of space here so that when it does output, they're not touching one another. So, and again, this is an example of a lambda expression. Once you kind of learn the basics of Java programming, you can then move into something called functional programming, where it'll mention a lot more about lambda expressions, and your code will become a little bit more shorter. Your syntax of your code will be a little bit shorter in terms of how you would achieve certain things. And so this is an example where we're just using this lambda expression to iterate through our fruit hash set. And so what this should do is output, if we use the hash set, like I said, it only can have unique values. And so when we run this program, we shouldn't have pair. We should pair twice. We should only have banana, pear, strawberry. And that's the uniqueness and the benefit of using a hash set versus a linked list or an array list. So let's go ahead and run this. Let's see, new hash set. Oh, that's my error. Oh, a T instead of an H. There we go. So now let's run this here. Yep. So we have pear, strawberry, banana, but we don't have pair again. And so, like I said, it only enforces unique values that can be held within the hash set. Now there is another collection called a map, HashMap, and this here allows you to carry key value pairs. I just want to just briefly introduce this. So in this case here, what I've done is I put together a list. So if you want to structure out, let's say for instance, a roster or a to-do list, and you want to order your to-do list with numbers. And so here I have each NBA player along with their jersey number, and I can format and structure that data in my program using the HashMap. And so I have the key. In this case, the key will serve as the jersey number, and then the value would be the name of the player. And that's just, if I wanted to structure this data in my program, I can use a HashMap to do that. So in this case here, what I'll do is I'll have to identify the various data types. And so the first one is going to be of integer data type. And then the second value is going to be of string data type, because we're going to hold the name of the player. And so here we'll say integer string. And then to we have to use a different method. Instead of the add, we'll use something called put. And then we'll just identify the items we want to put into our hash map. So we'll say the key 23, and then the player Jordan. And then I'll just do one more here. And I want to probably change this from fruit to, let's say, lineup. And let's just do one more here, and we'll say let's do Steph Curry. And his number is 30. Right? And again, these collections here are just ways that we can model data in our program. Now, there will be a different way we have to model this in terms, output this particular hash map. But nonetheless, I just wanted to show the two different ways, or the different ways that you can use collections in your programs. And again, the array list, the linked list, the hash set are very similar. Hash set reinforces unique values. The hash map, if we wanted to basically structure data out in a key value representation or format, we can do that, and that's what Java gives us to model that data. In the next video, what I'd like to do is look at a more complex example. And I said I was going to look at that example in this video, but I don't want these videos to get too long. So in the next video, what we're going to do is I'm going to uncomment this example that's in the lecture slides and go through it and discuss how we can actually declare an array list that would hold a candy object. And we define that candy in a separate file called candy, where it has two properties that we can pass in as to create our objects. And then we'll use this candy we'll create the candy object, and then we'll add that candy object to an array list. So stay tuned for that video, and we'll continue our discussion on collections. Stay tuned.